Alright, welcome to the Driver Mod. Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to get right to it. This video is going to be basically a side-by-side dynamic comparison between the GTD and the ZR1 Nurburgring lap times. I know a lot of you have been reaching out to me about what my perspective is, as a GTD allocation holder. How does this change things? Is this going to change things? And kind of just what my overall perspective is. I'm going to start by saying both lap times are fantastic. I do believe both cars left time out on the table. But as to how much, we'll get into that as we go through the laps. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad to see two American manufacturers over there setting some lap times. But in the future, I would also like to see some American track side comparisons too. So Ford, Chevy, if you watch this video, please put these two both together like that. But hey, Jim Farley did say, game on, and hopefully something can be done. Hey, maybe Hagerty, I hope Hagerty can do some sort of Willow Springs, maybe even Laguna Seca type, Randy Pope's behind the wheel, both cars. Let's see it happen. Now, we are still in pursuit of our GTD allocation, and part of it is we're going all out. We're trying to do as much as we can for it. So we did come up with these Need Money for GTD channel T-shirts. These will be linked in the description below. They come in a variety of colors. Purchasing one of those greatly helps the channel and helps our overall odds of potentially getting that GTD or ZR1. We'll get into it. Alright, so I tried to make these as close to side-by-side as possible. I believe the ZR1 is about a tenth or two ahead of the GTD, but this is about as close as I could get it with the kind of setup that I'm working with. But right off the bat, you notice how quickly the ZR1 jumps ahead of the GTD. And it's pretty impressive. Yes, the GTD, it is working with, it's about 250 horsepower down on the ZR1. The ZR1 gets out to a tremendous jump right off the bat. It's already up to roughly, half to 3/4 of a second. The overall lap times, I'm sure you guys are aware, the ZR1 put down a 650.2, and the GTD put us down a 652.7. So we've got about a 3-second gap. But stick around for the whole thing because it changes several times amongst this lap, and if you weren't aware, I'm also sure you're aware that GT, Dirk Mueller, a Le Mans winning GT3, GTE race car driver, knows the Nurburgring, really, really well. And then a Chevy engineer, not some, professional race car driver. However you want to view that as a pro or a con, debate that in the comment section below. One would argue, having a pro driver would be the best route, but you could also make an argument, having an engineer that's been with the car since it's been developed and knows that car inside and out. Better driver. But now the ZR1's already up to about, at this point, we're about a third of the way around the lap, maybe just over a quarter, and it's already out to what looks to visually be about a second of a lead. Now, I wish the inputs for the GTD were on here so we could really see that, and that the GTD is in kilometers an hour versus the ZR1 being in miles an hour. But basically every 62 miles an hour is about 100 kilometers an hour. So take that with what you will. And the ZR1's about up to a second and a half or two at this point. But you do see the GTD drive, it's a lot smoother, whether it's the driver or the car itself. The ZR1, he's definitely wheeling that car around with a lot more action. There's definitely a lot more theater going on behind the wheel of the ZR1. I'm sure 250 horsepower would definitely do that to you. The official weights of the cars, I haven't really seen anything too solid, but I do believe the GTD is in the 4,000 pound weight range, and the ZR1 might be a little less than that, maybe like 3,800 pounds. I know the Z06 was about 3,800 pounds, so adding the turbos and the cooling for that, I'm sure it added some weight. This is the ZTK ZR1 versus the GTD with the performance package, so active aero, bigger splitter, obviously the DRS being the active aero. But this is just really cool. They both sound great. You can't really complain about any of that, for sure. The ZR1's got it good. The ZR1 builds a 3-second lead at this point. They're already coming around this almost 180 degree corner, and the GTD is just now exiting it. And then we're coming up to the carousel, so ZR1 enters now, GTD enters now. So yeah, we're right at about 2.5–3 seconds. But as we come, we're over halfway done with the lap now. This, from the carousel to the final straightaway, the GTD really starts to wheel in the ZR1. What I believe is the way the ZR1 is driving, all that action in the wheel, I think that's definitely cooking the front tires a lot and overheating them, because you see it for the rest of this portion until that straightaway. There's definitely a lot of corrections going on with the ZR1, and I think he's just overworking the tires, whereas the GTD was more stable throughout. Whether that was intentional or not, I'm not sure, but I can't wait to see if there's any more action. But as you can see now, the ZR1, it's coming out of that corner now, GTD now, so it starts to reel it in a little bit. And by about, I want to say, let's see, coming up, we got a little mini straightaway coming up here. ZR1 enters it now, GTD's in it now, so you can already see the GTD is reeling in the ZR1. Like I said, I think that was the tires. Right hand for the ZR1 now, GTD now, exit now. I mean, the GTD's right with the ZR1 now. So it's pretty cool to see. Yeah, they're dead even now. Actually, the ZR1 is just slightly ahead, which just goes to show how much power the ZR1 is making, because they're virtually even going into this straight look. ZR1's on the bridge now, GTD now, so less than a second. The ZR1 pulls, we'll say 2 full seconds on this straightaway alone, essentially. That's the difference, ultimately, final lap times. So, without that straightaway, they were dead even. Like I said, I think the ZR1 was really cooking his tires for the entire lap. The GTD is a lot more planted. I mean, the GTD has more in it. I'm not sure. I think if they put a professional driver in the ZR1, I think the ZR1 has a lot more time to game in it than the GTD. I definitely think the GTD is a sub 650 car, but I think the ZR1, we're talking low 640. So there it is, guys. The lap of ZR1 and the GTD. Definitely comment down below. What did you think? Who you got? Which car is your favorite? Really, I like them both, and I'd be happy with either one. Definitely the ZR1 is coming out, has made me consider and possibly reconsider some things with the GTD. Is it still on the table? Of course it is, but you can't deny either car is truly remarkable. So I hope we see more of this back and forth between Chevy and Ford. I hope Ford can bring some of that technology from the GTD and get it into the rest of the Mustang field. That'd be awesome to see, whether it's powertrain related or body aero related. That'd be really cool. The ZR1 and the ZR1X, they're pretty potent. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what the future holds with these two and seeing where things can go. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this little side-by-side Nurburgring comparison between the ZR1 and the GTD. Look forward to seeing you on the next video here at the Drive Mod. Take it easy, guys.